Hello and welcome to this Color It In video. Today I'm going to show you how to color this beautiful ethereal unicorn. So if you'd like to do this project and follow along with me, you can print the unicorn page from my e-coloring book number 2, which will be linked down below. And I'd recommend that you print this on smooth cardstock, but regular paper will do. I actually did this on regular paper, but it got a little warped because of all the sparkle that I added to it. The main product that I used for this project was the 36 set of Noyo gel crayons by Doodlehog. So this and all the other supplies I used will be linked down below. So I hope you're excited for this one. Let's get started. So I'm going to start with the background here, and I'm going to color section by section, starting with the blue-green color from the box. So I'm going to use this little guide here to section it off about here and then outline the unicorn carefully. And the bottom here. And let's just color this in. I'm going to keep my strokes close together so that I'm covering up the paper. And the reason why I'm coloring section by section is because I want to catch the blending while the color is still moist and blendable on the paper. So I'm going to overlay this with white, but I'm going to clean it off with my finger first. And if you ever can't get it completely clean with your finger, you can wipe it off with your paper towel. You just have to be careful that the color isn't twisted up too high because the tip can break off, which actually happened to mine, but I was able to just pop it back into the barrel. So anyway, now I'm going to overlay it with the white in a thick layer, and don't be shy with the pressure. And now I'm going to blend with my finger carefully around the outline first and then work my way in. And I'm just blending past that seam line there a bit. And I'll section off this next portion up to the tip of the nose here. But now that you've seen the pattern, I'm going to speed up the video now. But you take your time and pause the video whenever you need to in order to catch up. And I'm going to finish up this dark tone up to that section mark that you see there on the frame. Here I'm pushing the color past the section line a bit. For this next section, I'm going to now underlay it with white, but I'm not going to clean the blue off it because that will actually help me to see where I'm outlining. Plus, we'll be laying some blue-green over the white for this section anyway, because what I'm trying to create here is a dark, medium, and light tone. So I'll bring my outlining all the way up to where that section guide is there on the frame, and I'll bring it up about halfway, and now I'll color in that section. So I would love to leave the blue just like that, but I think it'll be too light of a jump compared to that darker tone. So here's where I'll add a light layer of that blue-green and then blend it all together. And notice that I'm pushing that layer up as far as the color will let me, but it sort of dried out, so I reapplied some white along the top and then finished blending. So I'm going to finish off this last section here, but this time I'll color the whole section with white because I learned from the last section that I'll need all that white to push the blue all the way up. But when I add the blue-green, I'm only going to color it halfway up the section. And remember to apply a light pressure to try to match the tone on the section next to it. And also remember to blend starting from the bottom and working that color up to the top. So in person, it looks like a good transition from dark to medium to light, but on camera, this still looks a little too dark to me, so I'm just going to reapply some white like this and then blend it all in. I really like the way I blended this. I usually blend so that it's really super smooth, but I kind of like seeing all those swirls in there because it gives it more of a painterly look. Okay, time to clean off the fingers. So now we're going to do the hair in a pastel, almost rainbow pattern. We're going to do pink, green, blue, and lavender. So I'm going to make sure to really clean off my white because I don't want any of that blue-green on there for what I'm about to show you, which is to add some shading to the hair. So I'm going to start by applying an undercoat of white, but only halfway down the hair. Now I'm going to switch to the lightest pink in the box, which is the one that has more of a purpley pink barrel. So FYI, this is actually not the lightest pink, it's this one. So I'm going to start by outlining and then coloring from the bottom up. And then when I hit that white, I'll lighten my pressure. And you'll know when you hit the white because you'll see the color get a little bit lighter. So I'll color almost all the way up, leaving a sliver of white at the top. Then I blended from dark to light, but I'd actually recommend that you blend from light to dark because as you'll see, it ended up covering that sliver of white that I wanted peeping through. So I had to go back, scrape out some of that pink and reapply some white, reblend, and then rework the pink. Anyway, then repeat the same process on the other side of the hair, but this time don't blend from dark to light like I did. Make sure to blend from light to dark because as you'll see, I still had to go back in with the white to brighten up the top of the hair. Okay, let's clean off our fingers now. And now we're going to repeat that pattern on this next section of hair. But first make sure to clean off any pink if you have any left on the white. And for this section, we'll color the white along the back edge of the hair. And remember to color only half of the hair. Then we'll switch to the lightest green from the box, but make sure it's clean first. And color starting from the front of the hair and working our way up to the white, leaving a sliver of white at the top. Make sure your hands are clean before blending. But again, I recommend blending from light to dark if you want more of that white to show. Then repeat that pattern on the next strand of hair, except this time with the light blue. And when you color and blend, be sure to follow the curves of the hair. Then for this last strand of hair, repeat the same pattern but with the light purple. time to clean off the fingers. Now I'm going to work on the eyelid. I'm going to go back to the light pink and I'm going to grab the corners and fan it out. And I'm going to leave a little highlight area in the middle. Then with a clean white, I'll color that highlight area, and notice that I'm coloring slightly into the edges of the pink. Then I blended it with my pinky, but I lost some of the highlight, so I'll reapply the white over the highlight area. Then with a clean finger, I just patted the transition area lightly. And now she looks like she's got some pretty eyeshadow on her. So for the horn, I thought about using yellow or orange, but then I decided that it would look like too many bright colors on one picture. So I decided to recall that blue-green from the background. So first what I did was to add rings to her horn, but first make sure to wipe off any crumbs that might be on your color, and then find some sort of edge on the tip. Notice I started at the line of her forehead, rounded out the line, and ended it at the line on the other side of her head. Then just try to evenly space out the rings. And because these colors are kind of chunky, you'll have to lighten up your pressure by the time you get close to the tip to get a thinner line. Now carefully outline the horn. Really take your time with this. Again, make sure there are no crumbs on the color, find an edge, and try not to let the line float off into the pink. So now you'll notice that the outline looks a little grainy. So I'm going to show you a really cool trick. I'm going to make sure to hold down my paper. Then with my pinky, I'm going to start at the top, follow the line and drag it down. And you'll notice that it's going to pick up the color from those rings. Then do the same thing on the other side, being careful to not go into the pink. So you see how that added some automatic shading, and it even created a natural highlight in the middle of the horn. Okay, so now let's add some shading to the body of the unicorn, because I don't want to leave it just stark white and flat. And because we've got blue in the background, some blue would be reflecting onto the white of her body. So I'll do some more layering with white, but clean it off first. I'm going to start at the neck and add a fat border of white so that when I go in with the color, it'll have something to blend into. Now with the light blue, I'll start at the line here, but then lighten up my pressure as I work my way into the neck. Then with a clean, dry finger, I'll blend the blue into the remainder of the white, making sure to really soften the edge so that it looks like a natural shadow instead of an outline. So now that you know the pattern, I'll speed up the next part, which is to add a shadow along her cheek and jawline, and then at the back portion of her ear. So what we just did was to add shading to the white of her skin, but now we're going to add actual shadows underneath some areas. So I'll add a bit of a darker shadow under her hair here, here, and under her horn. So again, I'll follow the same pattern as the other shading with a white undercoating, but this time I'll use the dark blue. You just need a skinny line of this dark blue and then spread it into the white. So for the horn, I'll hug the white just under the base and then extend it out more in front. But now for the dark blue, I'm only going to color right up against the horn. Then when I blend, I'll pull the blue into the white to elongate the shadow. And I'll add a shadow underneath her cheek too. So with the white, I'll fill in a little triangle shape, and you'll see that more in just a second. With the dark blue, I'll make it dark just underneath the cheek and then lighten up the pressure as I move into the white, but also making sure to only color over half of the white and then blend it in for a soft edge. I have to be careful with my chubby finger in that little area there, so I lightened up my pressure more and angled my pinky under the green to keep it nice and neat. Alright, don't forget to clean your fingers, and I will show you how to color the eye. I'm going to start by outlining just underneath the black. So you have to make sure to wipe off any crumbs or other colors from your white. But if you accidentally color into the black, don't worry about that because we're going to cover it later. So I'm just coloring half of the iris here. Then switching back to the blue-green, clean off any crumbs and try to find an edge on the tip of the color so you can carefully outline the edge of the iris. And then work your way up until you just cross over the border of the white. Then I'll blend from light to dark with a clean pinky, but you could also use a Q-tip to make blending in that small area easier. See, I wanted to reblend it, but I had to make sure to clean that dark color off my pinky first so it doesn't overpower the white too much. And now let's carefully color in the pupil with black. Then carefully outline her long eyelash. And don't blend the eyelash, by the way, because otherwise the black will smear onto the white, so make sure to wipe off any crumbs from the black first. Now we just have one more step to go before we add some special details. Let's prepare our paint. You just need a small dollop, and I'm just going to take the tip of the brush and plunk it once into the paint, but you see how it's kind of gloppy, so I'm going to plunk it again on a dry spot in the cup. We're going to add a white sparkle in her eye, but make sure it doesn't go above her lash line. And I'm just going to go straight down with a quick little boop. And I added one more little dot between the pupil and the iris. And so now you can use that same technique to add stars in the sky. I'm speeding up the video, but you take your time and have fun with this. Just make sure to point straight down, don't angle the brush, and don't scrape it across your paper, and you can get about 3 or 4 dots before having to reload. So here's one more special step. I'm going to take this product called Stickles and add some sparkle to my picture. Be careful when squeezing it out. You can watch it come out the tip as you squeeze it. And I'm just going to carefully outline the horn. I'll bring you closer so you can see it better. And then I added some sparkles right above each ring. I also added some sparkles above her horn. Sorry, I didn't realize I was out of frame there, but you'll see it in just a second. And of course, I was having too much fun and I didn't want to stop, so I added more sparkles all over the sky, but I'll speed this part up because I know it's been a long video. I added them between the stars, but you can also add them right on top of the white stars. So this is why I recommended doing this project on cardstock, so that you have a sturdy paper to handle all that wet medium that we added. So here's an up close of all those sparkles, but you know, the camera really doesn't do it justice. It really is so pretty in person. Now, if you still want to color the frame after this, you should wait at least 24 hours to allow those sparkles to dry, or you can do the frame before adding the sparkles. It's up to you. And I know this video has been long, so once again, I'll speed up the framing process to show you how to do that if you're interested. What I did was color black on the outside edges, blue-green all over the whole area, then white over the inside edge, and then blended it all together. Ta-da! Well, if you enjoyed this video, please check out the other tutorials you see listed on the screen. And please don't forget to hit the notification bell for this video to be notified when I upload more content. Thanks so much!